So I welcome you all, delegates. I welcome you all for the plenary session 1 on millet awareness and acceptability. Uh, it's my pleasure to introduce Naaznin Husein, who will be moderating this session. Ms. Naaznin Husein is founder director of Freedom Wellness Management. She has many affiliations to her credit. To name a few, she is chairperson of dietetic of Nutrify Today, co-convenor FSSI, NetProFan, Maharashtra. Uh, she, she is a National Executive Committee. She is from the National Executive Committee, Indian Dietetic Association, Nutritional Advisor, Indian Navy, INS Hamla, Joint Services Training Institute, Chief Dietitian. So she has many accomplishments to her credit, as you can see. So it's my pleasure to introduce you, Ms. Naaznin. I hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much, Rashri. And good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. So we're going to take this whole journey of millet acceptability and awareness forward. And I think whilst we heard some great speakers since morning, अभी उनका काम हमको guide करने का खत्म हो गया. अभी actually हमारा काम चालू हुआ, right? Because we are the people who got to kind of take that and amplify it, take that message, get it to people, get consumers to kind of accept it. So to do this, we have an excellent group of people who are very, very well experienced in their field. Our first panelist is, we have Dr. Makarand Parturkar, sorry. Okay, we have Dr. Makarand Parturkar, who's got 25 years of vast experience. Once I was talking to Sir, I realized right from MTech to Agri to nutraceuticals, Sir wears many caps, and he has done some fabulous work right from food technology in the vegetable and food juices business to dehydration to now his current present position wherein he is the deputy of Zydus Wellness. Welcome, Sir. Our next panelist is a very dear friend. We have Dr. Agatha Betsy. She's an eminent nutritionist. Agatha has done her PhD in nutrition and toxicology from the NI and ICMR, and she has done some very, very interesting work on mindful eating, portion snacking, and nutrition profiling. So welcome, Agatha. I have a lot of friends on this panel. Okay, so we have Dr. Renuka Mandhane. Dr. Renuka Mandhane is a corporate nutritionist and an academic person. Like Nilesh and me were just speaking, she's the pride and glory of NetProFan Maharashtra. She's done some exemplary work with rural India. She's a corporate nutritionist for Mahindra and Mahindra. She was earlier the nutritionist for Taj Hotels, where she worked with a lot of rural communities and especially in terms of recipe making. So welcome Renuka, thank you for coming all the way from Nagpur. And yet we have yet another very, very eminent personality, a very dear friend. We have Dr. Ankita Marwa, who has done a lot of exemplary work at PepsiCo, especially her work with whole grain cereals at PepsiCo, and she's released a lot of white papers, and she's so welcome Ankita. It is a pleasure to have all of you all here. So just because it's lunch and I don't want all of you all to sleep, so I'm going to begin with a little story. Okay, this is a story which I was narrated by a food historian. Okay, और इन्होंने एक story बोला जहाँ पे in 1554, that's 300 odd years before, there was a battle in Samel, which is in Rajasthan. Okay, this was against Sher Shah Suri, who had come to invade the whole, territory. Now, whilst Sher Shah Suri had a very big army, all that King Rathod had was a small army, which were, the fort was sealed and they had very little to eat except for bajra. and for that entire battle they survived on bajre ki bati. और जब of course they lost the war sadly, but जब when शेरशाह सूरी was exiting India और इनको पूछा गया कि तुमको क्या खजाना चाहिए इंडिया से, तो उन्होंने बोला बाजरा, कि अगर कोई आर्मी जो है खाली बाजरे की एक बाटी से पूरा दिन निकाल सके, उसमें इतना ताकत हो कि उनका पूरा आर्मी जो है सर्वाइव कर सके, then imagine what kind of a product it is. Even when you go back to some of these places like Lucknow, when you go to some of these old monuments like the Residency or they often you'll ask them ये कितनी जूनी इमारत है, तो से ये बहुत जूनी इमारत है, इसको जो है इसकी ईंटें बनाई थी ये बाजरा, उड़द दाल, जैगरी और अंडे से बनाई थी. Okay, and I think we already knew nutrition back then. Okay, what we do today is just kind of translate it in a whole lot of scientific parameters, right? And so to do that we have a very eminent panel here, and I'm going to begin with Dr. Renuka. And Dr. Renuka, first of all, congratulations on this fab work, and I would like you to begin with your narration of your project Prerna, wherein you work with a lot of rural women. So why don't, and that's an inspiring story, so why don't you tell our audience about it? And I'm going to come.
Audible? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Naaznin, for the wonderful introduction. And at the outset, I take the opportunity to thank Dr. Jagmeet Madan ma'am, Nilesh Rele sir, Prabodh Halde sir, and of course the office bearers of SVT and NetProFan for making me a part of this event. Well, talking about our project in the rural setting, that is Mahindra, we started the flagship program called Prerna. In India, we have 12% of the female population who are the female farmers, right? And they do contribute for the agriculture. So when we initiated our project, we have got the seed bank, the original seed bank, not the hybrid seed bank. Then the cultivation, the expertise advice to the female farmers. They produce barnyard millet, that is samake chawal or variche tandul in Marathi we call it, or bhagar. So they had a lot of production of that. Then how to utilize that? That was a major question. So the group of female farmers, we have a tie-up with MSVSTF, that is Maharashtra Village Social Transformation Fund. It's a foundation run by the government. So they approached us. So we thought that why not come out with the formula for the kids. And in Wardha district, in Devli Taluka, we have a lot of malnutrition. And the female farmers who are going on the field and their kids are suffering from SAM and even MAM, that is severe acute malnutrition and moderate acute malnutrition. So we prepared our first formula, we call it Pehel. We got the prestigious CSR award for that. The formula which we developed was prepared from millets, of course the combination of pulses and some cereal to have the judicial mix and the amino acid profile. Our formula sufficed 1/4 need of protein and iron, and we have seen the excellent result that their severe acute malnutrition was converted to MAM and the moderate acute nutrition kids were converted to the underweight category. That's how we have seen the transformation. And that was our first project, and then even I got that award in IdeaCon 2020. That project got the award again for the you can say the use of, and so it was like a complete project, cluster project. The female farmers developed the millets, the group, self-help group ladies converted that into the formula, and those ladies prepared the formula, and that formula was distributed in 55 Anganwadis in Wardha district. Along with that, that formula was submitted to district collector of Wardha, and for some stipulated time, even ICDS people fed the kids with that formula. So approximately 2,900 kids were given that formula. That was the 1 hour project, that is Millet Press project, and we have not waited for the international year to celebrate the millet year. We started initiation working with millet way back in 2018. So that is our achievement, I can say. When nobody was working for millet, we were working for millet. The second formula we again developed for the female farmers who were producing the millets, what called Urja, and we joined the mission of our honorable PM, that is Anemia Mukta Bharat. And we have prepared the formula based on Bajra, Ragi, Rajgira, and then of course the other combination of some oil seeds and cereals, again to have the judicial mix of to get the amino acid profile. And again for that particular formula we have fed to the adolescent girls again in Devli Taluka, and there we had given that formula to approximately 115 adolescent girls, and we have seen the improvement in the hemoglobin levels. Now you all know that when we give the supplementation, usually they have some gastric discomfort, so the adaptation through the iron folic acid tablets is always not there, or the sustainability is not there. So giving iron through the food source was again the another thing we had done. And then another achievement we have done after the span of 2.5 years.
Come back to you. I'm
just concluding. So we have prepared a company of these female farmers. We have got a registered company. They have 250 female farmers are enrolled in that, and they are going to come out in the market with fast moving consumer goods like nachni, papad and things like that. So thank you, Naaznin.
When Renuka speaks, you can hear the passion in the voice, and all the work that she's done is really, really good. So thank you so much for doing all this work and continuing to do all this. So taking on from the agri practices, Dr. Makarand, this question is to you. That could you elaborate, like how does what does a small farmer do, or how do we improvise on all these agri practices? You also had some experience.
Though I am not an agriculturist, but from the birth as a son of a farmer, I am an agriculturist. We as a company, Zydus Wellness, are in the wellness products here. And if you see, as a farmer, I see a data from last 10 years data. If you see, there is a 90% reduction in the area of millet cultivation. It's a glooming situation. Why it is? But the good part of it, that some work, I will not say the 100% work, but some work is done by the scientists, the agricultural scientists, and the productivity is increased 200 times. That's why if you see the production curve is almost flat. But why it has been happening? In my childhood, I used to eat millets, but hardly I eat millets in urban population. At my hometown, we have the millets. When I go my hometown, I have the millets only. Because from the childhood we eat. First thing, there is no price. No one is buying it. 30 rupees, 20 rupees. If you say a sorghum grown there, what is the yield of sorghum? Per hectare, you will get 1 ton, 1000 kgs. What is the price? 30 rupees a kg. It's hardly 30,000 rupees. So per hectare, what is the per acre? Hardly 12,000 rupees. So this is the situation to the farmer. Now, when you come here in the cities, what is the situation? We are not getting a good food. Naturally, if today I do from my with individual capacity some organic farming also at my hometown, and even I was instrumental to have India APEDA to have the organic certification long back when I was working with Organic India at that time. From that time I was thinking towards the farmer. So see, these crops were abundant, are getting abundant by the farmers. If I say my father to grow it today, why you are not growing jowari? So he will say there is a lot of problems. The first problem, there will be all animals coming because there is a fodder for them. Second, when there is a harvest, lot of birds will come. So from the milky stage, as nobody is growing, so if I have 2 acre or 3 acre or 5 acre, so this is the issue. So now, as a support to the farmer, as an Indian, what we can do? Have a one day with millet in your diet. Don't do every day. Don't replace everything. One day. Cautiously take a decision that I will have one day with the millet, that too the whole millet, not the oats brought from Australia. What is happening? You please listen, please see it. It's the most important thing. While managing your diet, you all, you know, you are from the nutrition. I'm taking away a bit different from the farming background and all that. The reason here is that you have to understand, though the milk is, we are the largest producers of the millet in the world. Secondly, we are the largest producers of the milk in the world. Though doctors say that yes, there is an issues with the milk consumption and all that, but we are using it. I see, बचपन में मैं जब I'm taking this privilege to go in Hindi to रोटी और दूध का चूरा बना के जब हम खा लेते थे, that was my day. भाकरी आणि दूध त्याचा कुस्करा केला आणि खाऊन टाकला की that's sufficient. थोडीशी साखर टाकली त्यात नसली तरी चालते. That was my typical nashta when I was child. Even आजही खेड्यामध्ये असेल. It is a typical nashta that what the children will have. What it was doing? See, as a nutritionist, as a food technologist, I know that we need for a complete protein. Now the values have been calculated in the form of the dyes. If you are well aware of the dyes. It's not important the quantity that what's going, but whether the protein that what you are eating is a complete or not. If you have a 100 dyes food as in a complete plant diet, means the 100% protein that what using is sufficient. Then you need what? How many? Hardly 0.6 per kg of the body weight. So yeah, 0.6 to 0.8. No need to have 1. No need to have 0.2, 0.8. So as these millets and cereals are abundant in sulfur containing amino acids, what we need to compensate them with the lysine. And the source of lysine, the two. Our ancient time, pulses is the one part, and that too again, which pulse? See, idli and all those, our ancestors were very clever. They know the black gram is the best companion to it. So they had a black gram and cereals and millets with it. Similarly, the milk, which is the highest source of lysine. So 150 gram of milk or curd in your diet will help you to manage the protein quality to almost 98 or 97 dyes value. And this is what will help you. So this is how I think from the farmer community I can say agricultural practices will get boosted up, as well as you will have a best diet in your everyday. 1 week a day, that is you should keep in mind. 1 week, one day in a week, that if you do it, I think that will be great support to the farmers.
1 day in a week is a great formula, Dr. Makarand. And I think like Dr. Makarand said, all the birds and the animals are more smarter. They are always going for smart foods and we are running away from it. So I think it's about time that we change our practices. And so for all of you all in the audience, especially students, once I'm taking questions on this end, I'm also going to take some questions, some solutions from you all. Okay, so each one of you all have to give me at least, be ready with one idea where what you're going to do to either build awareness or to increase acceptability. Okay, so where I'm going to go straight away to now Dr. Ankita Marwa. Dr. Ankita, you've done some phenomenal work, especially in building awareness and working with young minds in schools, etc. So whilst we see knowledge, attitude, practice, are they the same? Where do you see a gap in, especially in adoption and acceptability?
Thank you so much, Naaznin, for that question. I would like to thank SNDT for having me here, and it's an honor because Naaznin is the chair for this session. So she's already given you homework, and since I'm in college, more than me talking, I'll love to hear you. But before that, I would ask Nilesh, how old do you feel? 20. If you don't mind, I don't know your name. Yeah. How old do you feel?
Ma'am, I am still, I guess, like I'm actually 23, but I still feel like I'm in my 18 or 19. I'm still.
You feel 80, 90?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And somebody behind, anybody? How old do you feel? Yeah. The only gender diversity we have. Yeah. The boy there. Yeah. How old you feel? 18? You feel 18 and you are 18? Oh, Naaznin, how old do you feel?
I feel 16.
Oh, wow. Look at this. So we did a survey which said that when I asked people who are actually older how old they feel, they felt much younger. And when we asked youngsters, millennials, how old they feel, they felt much, much older. Now, why is this happening? Because it definitely, the level of struggle which a youngster is going through today. If you look at millennials, you have your studies, you have job, you have a family to manage. There could be multiple challenges which one is going through. So, how we tell our story? There are so many people telling stories to young brains today, whether a teacher in the class or something on the digital platform, somebody is trying to tell you a story. And what stays with you is something which connects with you at a personal level, and that is something which eventually translates into practice. So we have done again a survey and with great experts in this college and with Naaznin and Dr. Madan. And here we try to understand that how much is the awareness on whole grains. And since we are a cereal eating country, almost 400 grams to 300 grams per day is the cereal consumption in the urban population where we went through. Well, the millennials and the top-end consumers, even they were having that level of grains a day. And out of those grains, only 10% of the grains which they were consuming were whole grains, and rest of them were all refined. From this college, there is a lot of awareness in the school children which is happening. And there again, we found that there is a huge knowledge gap. Even the white rice was considered a whole grain. So if you are not aware and if you don't have a strong story which can, like Naaznin started by saying that this is a story, and did you know what? Versus if she would have gone ahead and just said that, okay, fine, these are some 5 minutes, these are the benefits, this is important for the farmer, probably the retention and it translating into practice would not have happened. So what I would say is that scientists and as nutrition fraternity, for us it is important that if we want to have a huge impact in terms of awareness which translates into practice, we need to ensure that it is getting converted into something which is relevant to the audience and something which motivates them to convert it into actual practice. So this is something which I would say, and we had done, and I'll give you another example. We had done a program with our own employees. Given that the awareness is so poor on whole grains, we asked, again we thought that if we just go ahead and say that whole grains are very good and go ahead and have whole grains in their families, people won't. So what we told them is that there is a huge malnutrition issue in the country. Let each one of us take a fist of whole grain and a bowl of whole grain and go and contribute in the community. And when we started talking about benefits in that way, what we saw is that not only they went and contributed whole grains in the community to the underserved, but they also understood the importance of having whole grains. So I think some unique practices and unique options of converting science into an easy, simple, understandable form will be very, very critical to make millets a part of everyday diet. So thanks, Naz.
Easy, simple, understandable. Perfect. I think 3 very, very important words which we should remember. And over to you, Agatha. Whilst Dr. Ankita spoke about awareness, I would like you to speak about the role of industry, especially in making millets more acceptable.
I'll pick up from where Ankita has left because as you said, Naaznin, acceptability is the key here, and we can do a plethora of research, and we've been listening to the research, what's going on at the government level, and it has reached to the nook and corner. Very encouraging for all of us. but it will be even better for us, and I personally would feel it will be reinforcing when each and every person or each and every citizen of this country is able to understand and is able to get at the level that we in this room at least are at. I tell you why. Because I face this I face this personally at my home every single day. I've got a diabetic husband, and because I am a trained nutritionist, I've gone and done my PhD, and I am in the nutrition fraternity. No one needs to tell me why millets are good. So you give me millets in any form, any color, any state of matter, I would consume because I have this awareness. These are good for you. But if you try to translate the same thing to a normal layman, we are far from the reality. This is what we see when we actually visit some of the consumer awareness sessions also. Awareness, I would say, is not at the level that it is required to drive consumption. We all are aware there's huge awareness and huge awareness about health, nutrition, all that is coming up. But how much is it to that level that it is imbibed in the lifestyle? It has to be at that level. Same is the case for millets also. So when we take that up, and I'll just give an example of one of the recent products that we launched. It's called Ragi Cone, and we faced a lot of unacceptability when it was at the development stage because of the mere color of the millet, and we had to really struggle hard. So this is just one parameter that I would want to highlight. There are other parameters, and why was it important? Because people were not aware that ragi is good enough for you, and you can have it in any form because it is beneficial. When that is one scenario which is existing, the immediate solution that we as an industry would want to provide to the consumers is that make it in a manner that at least it's acceptable. So if we went to, I'll tell you, if we went to 100 people with the product, somewhere around 70 tried at least, but 30 were like, nahi khana hai, ye kala dikh raha hai. So we had to really struggle hard to let them taste it. But the moment they tasted it, the other part of their mind started working that it's acceptable. So that difference between at least seeing and tasting is a bridge that we'll have to walk through, and that can be done with awareness. So the more and more awareness we build, I think there's a roadmap that we'll have to follow. You come down towards the awareness level and you make it palatable as well, because we've got a standard set high by the staples of the day, and they are palatable. They are actually malleable in all the formats which the current population is actually adjusted to. So it's again how millets will take this journey. It's a very encouraging journey, and I really hope that we reach that level someday. So all the best to all of us. We have actually a long journey to go.
Okay, so while she left it at that, I think those are great inputs, Agatha. How many points on awareness quickly? कौन बोलेगा? एक जल्दी. चलो जल्दी. I give you time to think. Yes.
So ma'am, usually on Sunday, near the Nirmala point, basically the marine drive. So basically on Sunday, usually there are many activities that are conducted. So many people gather, especially the youngsters. So maybe there we can perform or do some activity, because there are a lot of youngsters. So we can approach them directly because they are the future. If we bring the changes, so that will be possible. So there maybe we can perform some activity, and through that
Fabulous.
spread the awareness.
So do a lot of public awareness in-person activities. Who else?
Actually, Naaznin, if I may just add in here, before we get into the public, how many of us are able to convince our own children or adolescents to get into this? Because that's a personal fight that I am having, and I really want every one of us. See, we will be having, because this is there. So we actually should start from home, and public awareness is also important. So just don't miss out your own house when you go out. So do that initiative as well.
Perfect. You had a suggestion last seat? Few days? Yes.
Yeah, like nowadays even social media is also on trend, so we can make a challenge like a millet challenge, like everyone will know about it.
So can we all pledge that for all the Facebook, Insta time that we have, can we give 5 minutes to millets every day? Can we pledge that? All of you all, imagine so many people in the room, 5 multiplied to the x, how much promotion that is, right? And each one of you all have so many followers, super. I also have some young startups who've done some fabulous work. We have Food Strong here, and so I would like to, you are making a lot of products and you started this young journey venturing into millets. So what was your thought, and what is the acceptability of people? You often come across consumers directly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our fundamental learning has been that consumers want to eat healthy.
Okay.
I think there is a innate desire for consumers to eat healthier versions of whatever they eat today. That's for sure. There's a clear drive. There's an increasing awareness that they need to do something about it. However, what we've also found is that there is a lot of fads that come and go in terms of just awareness of what is healthy. I found many misconceptions with people. Sometimes we do a lot of other advertising as well. We found.
Okay. So misconceptions, and so you said people want to eat healthy. They are aware about millets, but still a lot of work needs to be done.
No, absolutely. I think from an awareness perspective, there is a lot to be done in terms of how millets are positioned in the mind. To give you an example, we have a couple of products with millets, and very often I use on large events to interact with consumers. I have found that specific millets have already sort of sat traditionally in some specific corners of the mind. For example, this is for children only. This is when you're sick. And so how do we change that positioning over a period of time is actually about both in terms of what kind of products we come up with, but also in terms of how we market them. And I think it's incumbent on the players in the industry to actually to make millets not just acceptable, but actually desirable in some form.
Okay, so he's added one more word to the basket, which is desirability. So it's awareness, acceptability, and now you're actually wanting it so desirable. I think that is great and good. Thank you so much for that. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
See, in building awareness, one of the factors which comes is what are the products which you are going to give and what price are you giving? Because every mind in Indian condition is a price sensitive. So when you say millets are going to cost you say almost double or 2.5 times the regular cereals, why the people will buy? Unless there is a certain kind of incentive. Health can be one incentive, yes. But basically people today do not have something to eat also. So giving them the millets etc. at a higher price is not going to be acceptable. Today even if you see, I was in the last week in a nutrition exhibition, and I was finding that there are a lot of products, even Mitex which has been there now going on in Bandra Kurla complex. You will find a lot of products are there, but where are the buyers? Unless the people are able to buy, and people will, in any case they are price sensitive. So when you are giving a product, here also in the stall I went to almost all the stalls just to taste the product, because initially when you say I have prepared something from the millet, and I want, would I like to try without even knowing what exactly the taste? Because the one which was given in the lunch time was not even
Got your points, sir. I think that those are very, very important points. I think that's great and good. Ma'am, you want to say something? Baba, just give it to ma'am. You can also ask the questions to our very, very elite panel which is here. So you can direct some questions to them.
Yeah,
as
good
well.
afternoon. I'm Tanuja. The question is to all of you. It was like since morning and throughout the day, tomorrow as well, it would be good points. Of course, yes, all the points are good. But is it really, what are the other side effects? Because it can't have all the goodies in it. Right? A paper I have gone through it which says that pearl millet has iodine intake limitations. So that induces the goitrogenic possibilities. People staying there and having pearl millet have been found to have the goiter incidences. Of course, the study may, they may. Secondly, what I observed throughout, when you sell ragi fried papad or those kurkures, how much is the nutrition value? I mean, we talk about fine, this is ragi and this has all the nutrition. When you're frying it, secondly, third, today I saw some dehydrated product in it. Won't they be containing even E2 stabilizers, which we say that they are not supposed to be contained with the preservatives or whatever it is, because they won't be staying so long. So all these factors also need to be considered before we go in for, just push the product.
No.
So how much is the, if you can talk also about the other aspects.
I think those are extremely relevant points. For the thyroid issue, we actually have an entire panel on clinical nutrition today. So we'll do that tomorrow. In fact, we have a separate session especially on, who are the people who cannot have.
Okay.
So we'll address that then. And yes, I think all the other points were very relevant. So thank you so much for that. Yes, Doctor.
You have rightly pointed out. This is the one of the question everybody has in his mind. Particularly phytates, iron absorption, anti-nutritional factors and all that. There are two things. And one most important thing, madam, I am going to tell you, and I think with this all nutritionists, the budding nutritionists, that is one change we need to do this in our education system. The first thing I will answer you, see, there are processing techniques, basically soaking and all that. These anti-nutritional factors are either degraded or eluted out. So 25-30% of it has been achieved through that way. Okay, so the care is taken by those processing methods, and those are not today somebody has been invented. These are there from the ancient time. And why I am coming back to the ancient time? We are fortunate in India. We have an Ayurveda. But linkage of Ayurveda is not there in the modern nutrition. Sorry to say, but this is a fact of life. See, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. These three, see, there is no other system in the world which can bring the customization to your individual level, to the level where what I am. And the diet that what Vata, Pitta and Kapha, same thali made for everybody in a house, the portion of that thali, how much to eat of each portion. Suppose you see all these millets are, they aggravate Vata. They are called Vataji. So now see the dishes that what you was making with millets. They are always made with lot of ghee. So the laddu is made out of ghee. Even in childhood, we used to have the jawar ka roti, ghee, and a little bit namak over it. So ghee deprivates the vata, while the vata is been increased by the millets. Actually, the case here is that when we see in Ayurveda in this line, though I am a pure food technologist from the background, but out of interest, just I go and read on that part. See, when we see Vata, Pitta and Kapha, these are the Pitta relieving, means all this energy giving. And Ayurveda has 6 tastes previously defined. And what you eat to reduce your taste. So if you are hungry, you will have a sweet first, sweet means carbohydrate and those things basically. So those who are having the high pitta, they can digest these millets and fibrous food very easily. Those vata, they need a small portions. So I request everybody, go and Google out. Understand what type of prakriti you are. First, go any website. There are many websites. Foreign websites are more than the Indian websites. Find out what prakriti you are. There are questions because of basis your physics, basis your psychology, basis your behaviors. You can find out what prakriti you are, and then you will get the number of solutions out of that. And if this kind of this system can be budded in the first semester of the nutrition or all that, I think it will help lot to our country to bring the healthy person.
Ma'am, thank you. I think those are very relevant points which you brought in. I'm Dr. Madan here. Yes. So, yes, we do not have very clear-cut answers to many things what you raised. But what I want to reflect to what Dr. Makarand said, we have pioneered to get nutrition and Ayurveda in our mainstream coursework, right from graduation till post-graduation. And we are very happy to say that we are going to launch a certificate course on the integration of nutrition and Ayurveda very shortly. So what is important is the interface, which has not been documented. There are many sites which talk about Prakriti, but analyzing your Prakriti is not so easy. You may be right, you may be wrong, but I think we need to have, both the aspects put together, find out where are we similar, where are we different, and get that interface clarity. But some of these are actually the research questions which today's modern nutritionists and dietitians and researchers have to address. Dr. Devraj is sitting next to me and he was saying that they have done some work on processing of millets and how it impacts on these anti-nutrition factors. So this is an ongoing work, and it's good that we ask these questions. We should be asking these questions, and we should not take things just on the face value. And we will find solutions. We are here together just to work towards that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And we have the last 2 minutes, and I'm going to get the panelists to say one final takeaway point.
So one final takeaway, at least for me, is that we have to look at a holistic picture of everything, and I think a very balanced approach, which the college is also talking about. We all need to have that balanced approach, and really hats off to the questions you've asked. So I think balanced approach.
Yeah. So I just want to add that, as sir has said, adding millets once in a week. I will say that adding millet probably with some fortification, like if you are preparing idlis, why don't you add ragi to that, so that you don't see, basically so you don't alter the taste of your product. Everybody is eating food for the pleasure. And I just want to add an answer to ma'am's question, why this nachni, papad and kurkure is being prepared, because food is ultimately a pleasure. And introducing millets, like if I say have bhakri, nobody is going to have that. But if I say have ragi ka chips or something like that lucrative name, then people will adapt to it. So adaptability and revolution will only come. So start adding millets to your own diet and practice what you preach.
Yeah, great, madam. Actually, taste, what would you adapt? Everybody know. Ma'am, no, it is not tasty. 10 times you eat, it will be tasty to you. It's a simple thing. So every person adopt taste. When the first time I had a cheese, I didn't. But today if I have, it will be. 1,000 rupees one can pay for a Bolivian quinoa. Why not the bajri? So it's the same thing. So if we start eating, we value our things, the people will value. So value what we have in our country. That's the one thing I think we should take up.
I'll stick to sustainability. So take decisions which are credible based on all the knowledge that is being spread about, and take decisions which you can follow lifelong. So understand and take your own decisions where you can follow for a longer duration and lifelong. That's one thing.
Okay, thank you so much. You guys have been a great panel. My last takeaway is simply add. Begin with just adding. जो अभी खा रहे हो उसमें थोड़ा सा add कर दो. No need to make a major effort. After that, whatever you can swap, you swap. Okay. If once a day, like sir said, or once a week, if you can replace the normal thing, you replace. So add, swap, replace. So just 3 simple formulas. Thank you so much and have a great day. Thank you.
I just want to make one research question because we want to make millets global as well. And we are starting with a very local sentiment. So if we are saying that the adoption should be just very local, how do we make it global? What is our narrative for that? So I think we will start looking at that. That would be great.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ankita.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you all. It was such a wonderful panel discussion, and definitely I think simple and powerful changes can definitely bring millets to next level.